It starts with an itch and a tingle, and then it builds and expands. And suddenly, all at once, my legs won't let me stand. I scratch till my fingers go numb.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Suicide Sucks podcast. Now, this is day one of the road trip, and in my camper van today with our coppers that we've got with us, I have got Sheree. And Sheree is with the support group WISH, which stands for Women Inspiring Strength and Hope, which I think is just absolutely fantastic. So she's going to talk to us about WISH and also about her personal experiences with suicide. So welcome, Sheree. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I don't know if you know, but I do like to start with the deep question. So could I really just dive in and ask you to tell us about your darkest day?
My darkest day.
Your
Personal
darkest day.
Oh,
yes.
okay, that is a deep one. I'm not bothered about that at all because this is the type of things that we need to ask at WISH as well. So it's just usually me asking the question instead of somebody asking that to me. I'd say my darkest day on record would be... I'm trying to think.
It's hard.
It is hard to think, actually, because I don't want to say I've got too many, because I don't think I have. But when there's a couple, it's like, oh. Okay. It's good that you don't ask these questions first, because I don't want to pre-think about it. And it's good to be asked on the spot, I guess. Okay, so my darkest day would... Oh, do you know what? It's going to be an unexpected one, actually. But it's the first thing that actually springs to my mind. And it was actually during pregnancy with my third son. So I really, really struggled during that pregnancy. And I think people will be shocked to know that. I mean, I've told them little bits and bobs around how I felt and how I was. But during that full 9 months, I was very, very ill. He made my body change dramatically, although I'd had to before. He had made my body change more mentally and physically in terms of me not being able to walk around as much. It was during lockdown, so I was on furlough as well. So I couldn't go to work, which I think affected me a lot more than I thought it did at the time. But yeah, I was in a dark place. And some horrible thoughts in terms of like my pregnancy and stuff. So, but yeah, I just kept holding on to that feeling that I knew that I'd feel different when I did have him. And he's 3 now, and he's amazing, and I love him to bits. So it did change. But yeah, and that's not kind of normalised as well to feel crappy during your pregnancy. Instead of it was like
postnatal depression.
Postnatal instead of prenatal depression instead of postnatal depression. So yeah, it felt a bit like that at times. But yeah, I had some dark days during that period, I'd say. Yeah.
That is really interesting because, like you say, if anybody is aware of anything like that, it is always the postnatal, isn't it? Not prenatal, when everybody thinks that you're blooming and everything's, fantastic and you're all excited about this new baby. So yeah, that is very interesting, and I bet that will resonate with a lot of women.
Yeah, because I think at that time in your life when you are pregnant, you've got to feel, or you're made to feel, I'd say, that you should be excited, and you are lucky, which you are, and it's a blessing and it's amazing. But I think to normalise the feelings that you sometimes you don't have to feel loved up and in love and enjoying the changes in your body until afterwards. It quite the opposite for me. I was quite full of energy. I was happy, and it had felt like a weight had been physically lifted. Obviously, He was heavy anyway, but it felt like this emotional weight had been lifted, and it took a lot longer for me to bond with him, but I felt okay with that. And it was nice because him and his dad had this lovely bond and relationship. So it's not like he didn't get that love and affection. And he did get it from me, but sometimes from afar. I was quite distant at first. It took me a few months to really get past what I'd been through in the previous 9 months. But yeah, we got there in the end, and he's amazing.
And when you talked about, having dark thoughts and stuff, is that something that you'd experienced before?
No, not really. Nothing like that before, no. Okay. So I'd shocked myself, and I think it scares you as a person when you feel certain feelings and certain thoughts and things, and I kind of feel like I have them coping mechanisms and skills to be able to try and get past it and through it. But when you're stuck in a rut so bad, I don't think that it's difficult for everybody and anybody to get out of it. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest things that comes out in these interviews with people, that, we all know what is the best thing to a certain extent, but when somebody is in that zone of just feeling like there's nothing good in their life, you're not in that position to, ask for help or talk to people. And that's what I want to get out there. Maybe it's more about trying to identify those feelings before you get to that point.
Yeah.
If we've all got knowledge about it, then you might be a bit more aware that, I might need help now before it gets too bad.
Yeah. And I think there were a lot of shame to carry when I was pregnant, because I thought, if I tell a doctor, even though if I was on the other side and somebody was telling me this information, I would 100% be like, nobody is going to judge you, and you can go to the doctor, you can speak about your feelings 100%. But I think it's good to be honest about these things, and I have felt that way 100%, where I'm like, I can't go to the doctor, it's a shameful thing that I'm feeling like this. So yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one to say, but I mean, I am open and honest in group as well, so I will say these things to people in group and say I've been in those positions and it is difficult, and sometimes at stages, I think since I've passed that part of my life, I do take my own advice a lot more, whereas back then I didn't, and I really struggled. So
yeah. So you talked about group. Tell us about Wish. Tell us how you got involved with it, what it is even. Some people might not even have heard of Wish. Even those that live in the area might not have heard of it. So, tell us a bit about that and how you got involved.
Yeah, so Wish is a sister group to Mint, our Men in Need Together charity. I won't go too much into detail for Mint, because I know that they'll probably want the chance to have the podcast and things as well. So, yes, it's a sister group from Mint, and it was set up by a lovely lady in the area who set it up just from having Mint. She basically did it for around a year, I think, and did an absolutely fantastic job of it. But then COVID hit, and she had things going on in her personal life as well. And I offered to step in and take the group on. I think it was January of 2022. So yeah, it's every single Monday at 7:30 at our local Morley Salvation Army. It's just a safe space. It's lovely, it's clean, it's warm, you do feel instantly at home when you walk in there. It is a lovely experience, and that's a lot of the feedback that we get from the ladies that come as well. So yeah, the person that previously was looking after, the Salvation Army, they provide that space to us for free, and now there's a lady that's taken over, and she's stayed that she's going to keep it on for free as well for us. So it's really lovely, because everybody's trying to businesses and things like that, so it's difficult to give time and money away for free. So yeah, we're very, very appreciative of that. And
it is it's a big deal.
Yeah.
If you end up having to pay for space, where's that going to come from?
Yeah.
And you don't want to start charging people to come to a group, do you? So, yeah, that's fantastic. You're very lucky.
Yeah, it were it was such a blessing when we only asked a few different areas as well, and they was very open to allowing us to do that. They used to have a band practice at the same time, but we didn't mind that at all because it was lovely, to hear like music in the background. And now they've stopped the band practice at that time, and it's just us. And I think they have like monthly meetings and stuff at the same time. But yeah, it's a lovely space and a lovely
Excellent.
in a lovely area.
What days are those?
It's Monday at 7:30. Every Monday at 7:30.
Right.
On a bank holiday we don't do it, but that's the only time really that we're not there. We've got another 2 facilitators now that are helping out, Adele and Alana. They help out quite a lot as well.
Right.
So yeah.
And how many people do you get coming? Does it vary each week?
Yeah,
Can you just turn up?
Yeah, of course, yeah. You just turn up, you don't have to send any messages or anything like that. A lot of women do send a message first, just so that they know what to do and what they're expecting when they walk through the door. We do get a lot of women that'll message and say, how many people are coming tonight? Or do you have a lot of people come to group? Can you meet me outside? Can you walk me in? Things like that. So, and we're always open to doing that as well. We've had a lot of women that have sat in the car park for 3 weeks in a row and bucked up the courage on the 4th or 5th week to walk inside, which is amazing, because when you build that up as well, it becomes harder, 100% harder for somebody to do it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
We do get around, I think the highest numbers we've had is around 20 ladies.
Right.
We started having like little events on every month, and we had a lovely lady who came in and did some meditation, some sleep meditation and things with us. We've done some like team building and team bonding experiences as well, just to gain confidence and things. So, yeah. And then the lowest amount that we've had is like 1. Which is fine, and we'll always sit there and we'll speak to that one person if they need it. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Even if it's just one. And actually, even if no one turns up, there's still a space for the person that's facilitating, isn't it? So, you're still doing good. And what kind of things do people talk about? I mean, do you sit round in a circle, and take me through if I was to turn up for the first time?
Yeah, so we sit around a table, because we've always got a cup of tea in his hands. So yeah, we, depending on the numbers, we'll have 1 or 2 tables, and we'll pull the tables together so we're not divided at all. If we have new people, I usually speak first. I'll say why I'm there, what Wish is about, and what we do at Wish in terms of like the confidentiality that comes with coming to that group as well. When you're in a small community, I think you can sometimes get a little bit nervous about walking into a group, because you might think, oh, do I know somebody there? And oh, is somebody going to say something about my private life? It's a scary thought and feeling. So I think I've had people come in who do know me personally as well. So that's why I try and speak a little bit about me and be open and honest, and just reassure people that it is a confidential space, and the only way that we would ever have to speak about it outside of group is if somebody was in danger, and that is it.
Yeah, that's a really interesting thing you've just said there, because if I was going to start a group and I walked in and I saw people I knew, I think instantly I'd feel like, oh shit, because there is that. I just think it is always easier when it's anonymous, isn't it, to talk about stuff. So, I mean, and I think that's why a lot of people shy away from talking about friends and talking about struggles with friends and family, because once you admit to stuff, they start worrying about you, obviously, and, checking up on you, which is obviously a good thing, but it just makes you feel a bit uncomfortable, doesn't it? So, yeah, walking in and seeing somebody that you know. So, that's really good that you've said, obviously, although that initial fear is quite prominent, once you actually sit down and understand why that person that you know is there, then that's big, really.
Yeah.
Because that's even more important, that people that you do know, that you didn't think had problems or were struggling are sat in that room, you know.
Yeah, and you know, and I'm never the first one either. If I do recognise somebody or I do know somebody, I'm never the first one to say to the group, you know, we know each other. I always let that person say that if they know me or not, if they feel comfortable with it. So yeah, it's only happened a few times, and it's always been a really good experience afterwards. So it's always been good. But I don't want that to hinder or stop somebody from coming to a group. Just knowing, or you know, I know the facilitator, and although I think that everybody knows me well enough that I would never ever, you know, betray somebody's trust or say anything outside of group. I think that could potentially sometimes stop people from coming, knowing that, I know somebody who goes.
Yeah.
Or what if I walk in, and not just me personally, but what if I walk in and I know somebody who's going to the actual group as well. So yeah, I think that sometimes can be a little bit of a worry for people, but and it's happened before, and I think it's best that they don't know if they know somebody, and then once they get to know them, they're like, we've had it before where people have walked in and gone,
really?
Yeah, and then you know, there's been lots of friendships gained from Wish as well, which has been really nice to see. But yeah, we kind of like are quite we're not very structured in terms of how we run a group. We have the vibe of the group and see where we need to go with it. It's not like pass a stick, it's your turn to talk or anything like that, which is nothing wrong with that way of structuring it, but we're just quite open it, and sometimes we'll have really like down to earth conversations and just speak about what we've enjoyed that week. And if somebody walks in and they're really, really upset and they've had a tough week, you know, everybody in that room is there to support each other. So it's really nice to see that it's a peer-to-peer group, and although women walk in for one thing, they'll help somebody with another thing that they've been through in their life before. So yeah, it's just more about everybody helping everybody else, and there's no judgment there at all. When women walk in, they're made to feel very comfortable straight away. We have a normal conversation. I'll speak about myself, and then if it's a bigger group and we need a little bit more of that structure because there may be, you know, we're doubling in numbers, we will go around the group and we'll discuss like, what does depression mean to you, or what does anxiety mean to you? And I think it's really good for everybody to understand the differences in everybody else's mental health problems as well. I remember once we spoke about anxiety, and I went first. I always try and go first just to help other people speak. And anxiety to me was nerves, and you know, having this feeling in my tummy and feeling a bit shaky, and you know, like, oh, this is making me a little bit anxious, I'm a bit worried about something. But the lady next to me described her anxiety as crippling. You know, she couldn't move her fingers at one point. If she gets it so bad, she can't move. And I think it was just really, really powerful to see one end of the spectrum to the other as well.
Yeah, and imagine how many there are in between as well.
Yeah, 100%. But we always try and say to everybody within the group as well, and, you know, it's natural as humans, if they hear somebody's story, they feel like, oh, my life's not that bad. And it's not like that. We shouldn't feel like that, you know. A broken leg's just as bad as a broken heart. You know, it's like, we try not to differentiate anybody in terms of the feelings and say, you know, you've lost your mum or you've lost your dad, or, you know, things like this we try and sway away from. So we try and help everybody relate to everybody, whether you've got one mental health problem or another mental health problem, they're all as bad as each other. You know, it's how you feel as a person. You need that validation sometimes as well, which being in a group sometimes, and this is what we always say at the beginning of a group, that you will have triggers during the group sometimes. If somebody triggers you, then we've got like a safe space, so it's another room.
Right.
Where you can stand up and you can just sort of walk into that other room, and you can take 5 minutes or 10 minutes to yourself. If you've been longer than 5 or 10 minutes, a facilitator will come out and speak to you and help you out to come back in as well. So we've got we've got that in place because we've had it before, and I'm sure we'll have it again, where somebody's telling a story and it really, really resonates with somebody so much that it brings back their emotions. And they've always been absolutely fine with that, but we always put that as like a disclaimer or whatever at the beginning of a group, that if you feel triggered, this is what we try and do. And the person who's speaking as well, if they've accidentally triggered somebody, don't stop talking. It's still your time. You need to keep on talking, and we've all got enough respect for each other that person's going to leave the room to allow you to carry on to speak. So, and that's it.
Yeah,
So
that's brilliant. That's really good.
in that sense.
And so we're in Morley.
Yes. Good old Morley.
So if there was anybody listening to this who's either from Morley or maybe a bit further afield, and they're thinking, oh, wish, that sounds, interesting, but, is it for me? What would you say to somebody who might be questioning, should I go or not?
I think a lot of the time when people walk through the group doors, they really, really need it in that moment and in that day. Sometimes it's not a build-up. Sometimes it's I need somebody today. And sometimes people feel let down by other areas, which it's not fair to say because it's extremely busy as the NHS. But yeah, we do get a lot of people that have gone to the doctors that day and, they've been like, oh, I didn't know what else to do. This is like my last resort. Make it your first resort. Like make it the first thing that you do is to come to group, because although we are like that stepping stone, we're not professionals, and we're not going to fix your problems. We're just going to listen and hopefully make you feel a little bit lighter than you when you left than when you came. That's that's what we're there for mainly. So. And we also
what a brilliant reason to feel lighter than when you came. Brilliant. Yeah.
And we signpost and things like that. Lots of women come, and it may be more focused to one area. And we've got an amazing community of in Morley and in Leeds. There's lots and lots of people that help out in terms of like mental health and mindful meditation and things like that. So obviously it's a women's group, so we do get women that come and who are going through the menopause. So there's like 3 or 4 different signposting groups just for menopause.
Really?
I
might ask you about that.
So there's, that's and I can't resonate with people. And if there's an older lady in group and the group is full of younger ladies or ladies that have not gone through the menopause yet, which we've not. We've got people that have come from the age of 18 to the age of 80. So yeah, we had a lovely lady, and I think as well, it's really difficult and to see older ladies, like really older ladies, going through it, but then quite inspiring because they've lived in an era where that speaking up probably wasn't as popular, and to speak up now is quite inspiring. So yeah, it's really nice to see.
That's brilliant that you've got such a wide age range as well.
Yeah, and everyone talks, and everyone will just lift each other up. Sometimes we've had groups where everybody's come in and they're all feeling good, and it's amazing. And we've had groups where the percentage of people are feeling absolutely dreadful that day, and we've had lots of tears. And there's lots of tissues going around, and I think because when you start to care about one another as well, and you want to help people and you see them upset, it's difficult to see people upset. But yeah, everyone's been amazing. All the facilitators that help out at group and help people that help with the fundraising, and the group members are all incredible. So it's not like you come to group just to get the help. You also come to group to help other people as well. So it's like both ways.
I mean, there might be people listening that, have been through stuff and, have come out the other side and live in the local area and maybe have got some expertise or professional qualifications or whatever. How would they be? Can anybody be a facilitator?
Yeah, so 100%. And I think one of the main goals of sort of next year would be to get different groups in different areas for Wish. It's a difficult thing to move forward with, but I think that's something that we really want to look at, because you know, there should be groups in every local area if we could do that globally.
Yeah.
Never mind just UK. But yeah, it's
it's possible, isn't it? Because, you know, that Andy Mann's Club is one that has taken the world by storm. And
yeah.
I mean, and I support that 100%. He was, one of the lads was on the documentary actually that I did. But to me, like you've just said, there should be one everywhere. There should be a Wish where I live. There should be a Wish, you know, in every pocket of the country.
100%, and this is what it's about. And even if it's not a wish, even if it's something totally different, I think when you've got the passion for mental health, you don't care if it's your name that's on the group door. It's
absolutely,
you go wherever you need to go. So yeah, we always try and signpost, and we've done our research at Mint and Wish to signpost people to any sort of other local groups.
Yeah. Well, this might give somebody who does know what they're talking about the confidence to set something up in their local area.
100%.
You know, then we have got more. Like you say, it doesn't have to be a wish. It could be something else.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
as long
definitely.
as somebody has got somewhere to go, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
What it is.
Absolutely. And so how do people find out about you if they want to, you know, understand a bit more about it or check you out online or whatever? Is there a best way to get in touch or find out?
Yeah, so we've got a social media Facebook page. I think if you're more familiar with the Mint page, then you can find us via the Mint page as well. We're in the local doctors. We're on the screens of the local doctors. So like Windsor House Surgeries, there's 3 in our local area, and in the waiting room they put our details on there. And yeah, like posters and flyers and things like that have been handed out in the local areas as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
That's excellent. So if somebody's in the surgery, they might now know what Wish is and think, oh, I've heard Sheree talking. She sounds all right. I'm going to go.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Sheree, thank you so much for talking to me today. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I really hope that, you know, you get more people coming and that, you know, possibly, you know, you do get some Wish support groups set up elsewhere.
It starts with an itch and a tingle, and then it builds and expands. And suddenly, all at once, my legs won't let me stand. I scratch till my fingers go numb.